please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 230504.6. Oi, Charlie boy, where's my invite? And why are you having the country swear allegiance to you and not me? You're just the dictator. I'm a benevolent tyrant that'll make England great again. Acronym MEGA. Hello everyone, welcome to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with an image I saw via an Anne with an E on Twitter, which led to an article that I eventually found because I couldn't believe this was legit. Turns out, oh, it's legit alright. An unidentified 24-year-old woman suffered an injury as she sat at home. Now this injury required CT scans to see where this injury took place. Now the injury participant was 2 centimeters long and it happened in Somalia. She was rushed to hospital with severe pain because the injury came through her ceiling, so she had no time to prepare for this. So, lowly bystander sat in her living room. Okay, what had happened was, the unidentified woman, Jane Doe, was shot in the clitoris. Now, I am desperately trying not to laugh, because on the face of it, of course, I don't want anyone to suffer an injury. But at the same time, it is one hell of a shot. I know no one was making the shot really, they weren't intentionally seeking to injure her clitoris. But the bullet was found inside it. There is in fact, by the way, an image in the article linked down below. I cannot post that picture because it's the, the CT scan X-ray thing, yeah? I'm not posting that. The images themselves, though, were published in the International Journal of Surgery Case Reports. Doctors do believe this may well be the first of its kind. So to the shooter, you should definitely come forward, not just because you committed a crime, but also because fame, infamy, you're a trailblazer in the clit shooting awards, that area. I was trying to be cute and I couldn't think of anything to reference it as. What gives this a bit of a murky story, is that very little of the details of what led up to the event, during and after, are actually given in the report itself. Pelvic exams showed where the bullet had penetrated. CT scans confirmed it. Under local anesthetic, they removed it. No complications, for those who are curious, were observed. She was discharged home the following day in good condition, and there have been no further complications in the months after. No obstetric vulvar trauma, so when the vulva experiences physical injury when not pregnant, it is an extremely rare occurrence. The cause of non-obstetric vulvar trauma includes sports-related injuries and straddle injuries. Gunshot injuries to the vulva are considered extremely rare, like a Pokemon. Stray bullets are actually surprisingly common, especially in war-torn countries like Somalia. At the same time, though, somebody fired it into the sky. No, it was not Boogie firing his warning shot. Yes, no, that didn't reach. Although it would be funny if it did, but not at the same time. No, someone still managed to fire a shot into the sky. It went through what must have been a remarkably weak ceiling to hit a woman in the clitoris. Because yes, you do then have to wonder, if the bullet's only 2 centimeters even with maximum velocity applied to it, how feeble the hovel's roof was. Because I doubt it was anything with a level of concrete to it. Additionally, how were you sat in your chair that made the shot? Because that's also another question. In fact, there are many more questions and I really want to ask them, but YouTube will demonetize me if I carry on. In the comments down below, and I'm going to put this as a challenge to all of you lovely people, hello, if you can think of the most creative way to describe this incident, I will pin it. YouTube do have this new set of rules about putting sources in the comments and hateful comments, so do try and be a bit careful with your edgy humor, because YouTube will remove it themselves, not me. So with the discussion of a shot clitoris out of our systems, we now need to move on. So the next subject I was going to consider making an honourable mention because I wasn't entirely sure how this was news. Comes from GB News, that new channel thing that happened last year or the year before. It's kind of around, titled Prince Harry and Meghan Markle breaking apart as couple leading separate lives. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are breaking apart and leading separate lives according to a royal commentator. Celia Walden is the commentator, by the way, believes that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are pursuing different agendas. She added the couple's public duties are resulting in them leading slightly separate lives. That word slightly is quite important, saying she wants the attention kept firmly on her because that is where the attention should always be, forgetting here that without Harry, her name is only really known for Suits, and that without him pursuing what he is trying to pursue, which is an unironic not wanting journos in his life while simultaneously wanting him in his life, again, they're nothing. Celia continued by saying, I think also there are already whispers of the idea that Harry and her seem to be breaking apart from each other in terms of their agendas. Slightly. They are both sort of leading slightly separate lives in terms of their public duties at the moment. And I suppose that is tricky for her because she needs the whole couple thing to be front and centre. I get the impression from this royal commentator, everything's Meghan's fault. That's good to know. Despite this claim, by the way, Harry and Meghan were seen having a date on Monday night, which was at a basketball match in LA where Meghan snubbed a kiss from Harry. Handily, whereas this could be an honourable mention, this actually leads to another GB News article. The Duke of Sussex confessed in his book Spare to taking illicit substances. Yeah? An American think tank is going to sue the US government over Prince Harry's immigration files to confirm whether the 38-year-old admitted past illegal drug use on his visa application. The think tank is called Heritage Foundation, and it has been calling for Washington to release the paperwork over the past few months, because this potential lie especially, is quite important. In his memoir, he admitted to taking marijuana, magic mushrooms, and sherbet. The mushrooms were of course made of marshmallow. The Foundation filed a legal complaint against the Department of Homeland Security in an attempt to enforce a Freedom of Information request, which then grants them access to Prince Harry's visa application. I'm actually somewhat surprised it hasn't been made public sooner. I don't understand the American system though. In the UK, Freedom of Information Acts, generally, they're not dawdled on too much. There's a little bit of dawdling when it comes to inter-party freedom of information stuff, but public, you really have to be careful. Our country is a lot smaller after all. The think tank has said, the request is in the public interest in light of the potential revocation of Prince Harry's visa for illicit substance use and further questions regarding the prince's drug use. The reason this is considered quite severe is because generally in America, if you've admitted previous use of narcotics, you are denied entry to the US. Former federal prosecutor Niyama Ramani told Page 6 an admission for drug use is usually grounds for an inadmissibility. I consider this quite important, especially when you consider the daughter, Lilibet, was born in Santa Barbara. Archie, no, he was born in London, so he and Harry can leave essentially. Although son could stay with mother, I think it'd be quite funny for Harry to be removed from the country, to go back to the UK and beg for us to give him police protection 24/7 while he continues to crap on journalists and the people of this nation. Because he loves it here, everyone. He's a team player. Can William chin him again, please? And do us all a solid? You got more chance of everyone saying hail to the king and swearing allegiance to William if he chins Harry first. Unlike Charles. Oh, for those who are curious, Harry has claimed the reason he took these things like marshmallow mushrooms, sherbet, and marijuana, is to help him deal with trauma. Quote, it removed it all from me and brought me a sense of relaxation, release, comfort, a lightness that I managed to hold on to for a period of time. Pussy. Sorry, I'm not the most tolerant when it comes to excuses. So I titled this on Discord, Fuck Around, Find Out. Not entirely sure why until I reread the article and realised it's a possible entry worthy of it, but let's see what you all think. For this we go to the state of Montana, where a transgender lawmaker has been banned from the state house floor after a rather unsavoury comment towards colleagues. Removed from the floor debates on Wednesday by Republicans for breaking decorum, and after a motion passed with a vote of 68 to 32, Zoe Zephyr, will be allowed to vote, but is barred from the House floor for the remainder of the legislative session on gender-affirming care for minors. This row has been brewing for months. It's been brewing for months and years everywhere else, but Montana apparently is a little bit behind us on this one. Since an April the 18th debate over the state measure that sought to ban transgender healthcare treatments for minors, This includes puberty blockers and hormones. My view has always been the same. No child should be put through that. It should be an adult making an adult decision. I get puberty blockers actually can serve purposes in other instances, but in the context of this, no is my answer. It always has been, and it will remain as such. There isn't enough data on it, and far too many now have started detransitioning because they were put through it at a young age, ignoring those who have Stockholm Syndrome because their parents put them through it by going abroad to negate UK law or other countries' laws to instead have full conversion operations done in other places, which is unacceptable and I consider a legitimate form of mutilation. Hello Susie Green, you're a shit mother and you should be in prison. Zoe Zephyr is a first-time representative, said in the debate that such care was tantamount to torture and that a ban would lead to more unalives, saying, if you vote yes on this bill and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands. Oh, that's a brave move, especially when the supermajority of the state, because it's a red state, shocker I know, silenced her until she apologized. Now, she had a fairly large amount of support. Congratulations, they protested at the State House. When protesters in the gallery disrupted the session by chanting "Let her speak," House Speaker then ordered representatives to abandon the floor. Zoe Zephyr stayed in place, pointing a microphone toward her supporters. Now this is quite brave. Since 1952, only 2 Democrats have been voted for in Montana, and that's in presidential elections. That's quite impressive. And at the state level, there are 68 Republicans in the House and 32 Democrats. In the Senate, 34 Republicans, 16 Democrats. Just to give this more context, at the last election, 67 Republicans, 33 Democrats. Before that, 58 Republicans, 42 Democrats. More Republicans have been voted in the last 6 years. It's going up. It did dip down, but it seems to have been over 60 for a long time. If you go back to 2009, it was right across the middle, like 50-50, straight up. But the Republicans have still held the Senate for an incredibly long time. If you're going to pick how you want to speak, you have to play the game. Standing out like this when you are a minority in number isn't going to end with you in any good optics. And using those who protest to your favor isn't going to work either. You may be defiant, especially when you say that the blood on your hands comment was not being hyperbolic, and that when the speaker asks me to apologize on behalf of decorum, what he's really asking me to do is be silent when my community is facing bills that get us unalived. He is asking me to be complicit in this legislature's eradication of our community, and I refuse to do so. A fearmongerer, equating the grown-up experience to that of a child. No one's trying to erase the child or prevent them from becoming an adult, only that when they become an adult, they then make the decisions. I know there's more to it than that, especially when it comes to healthcare. I'm more intrigued by the choice of words from Zoe Zephyr, as it doesn't really give you too much positive attention, which in turn does not mean you accomplish a whole lot, especially when you're in a state that has voted Republican for quite a long time.